To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers.
What's up, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome back to NBA Talk, episode 32, playoff edition. And we're finishing up all the game twos from the NBA playoffs. And let's get started with the Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. Once again, it was a bit of a tight game. Boston came out the gate running, Kyrie and Jason Tatum doing their thing, but Indiana, like they've been doing all season, fighting back, not showing any intimidation towards the opponent. And at one point, they were actually leading this game, and they were actually making their perimeter shots. And they were playing a little bit differently in terms of defense, and Miles Turner was doing somewhat of a good job protecting the rim in terms of not letting Kyrie finish, and they were doing a good job until maybe I would say the towards the end of the third quarter, and then that's when the game was starting to become going back and forth. But then Indiana just does not have the guy that they could just give the ball to get you some points to put the game away. And Boston, they were having struggles themselves too, because I don't know what it is about Boston defensively that they just start looking at each other like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you doing this on defense? Like, but then when they do put it together, it's like they look like a really good defensive team. And Kyrie Irving shows from time to time that he could get a couple stops on defense. And Kyrie did ball out in this game. He really did. And there's no doubt in my mind when I say this. Kyrie Irving in the fourth quarter, he's just unstoppable. He's unstoppable in the fourth quarter. Like, Kyrie turns into a whole another basketball player when he's playing in the fourth quarter. Like, he'll just tear your team apart. I don't care which team it is. You could be playing he could be playing the Golden State Warriors, and Kyrie Irving will find a way to just pick your team apart. And Jason Tatum, he came up big too. He put up his 26. He put up the three to put them up ahead. And Indiana almost had this one. It was like they were that close. The game was more competitive and very close. But once again, Boston just has that guy that they could just give the ball to and just say, here, take the ball and make something happen. And Kyrie Irving made it happen. Kyrie led the charge. He did what he had to do. And Indiana, I have a feeling Indiana is going to play a little better at home because, I don't know what is it about Indiana. They always have played better at home, and it's shown all season. They're a pretty good home team. Road team, that's a different story. But playing at home, they're very different. I feel like they play more aggressive. They play more loose. Like, nothing to do with officiating or nothing like that, but just they play a lot looser. And I guess the home crowd really does give something in your system that you're more pumped up to play at home. And then the fact that you're down 0-2, it just gives you more of a fact that it's do or die at this point, because you do not want to be down 0-3 against the Celtics. And to me, the Indiana Pacers, they can contain the Celtics, but they need to learn how to try to contain them in the fourth quarter, and when they have those big leads, to not let Kyrie get going. And as easy as I try to say it, it's harder than it looks, because you're talking about Kyrie Irving. He has the best ball handles in the league, and when he wants to, he could be a pretty smart passer when he wants to. And again, when his three ball is going, it's really hard to stop him, because if his three ball's not going, then basically he's going to be money from mid, and anywhere from the mid range to right under the rim. He's going to be money. But if his three ball's going, then Kyrie is just on a whole nother level when it comes offensively. And then if Kyrie's getting steals, on ball steals, then you got a problem. And Jason Tatum's another one. If his three ball is going down, then there's the problem. Then you add the fact that you have Gordon Hayward coming off the bench. You got a guy like Al Horford, who to me is being the defensive anchor of the team. He's being the defensive anchor. And because the absence of Marcus Smart to me is really showing, because Marcus Smart to me is like the defensive captain, if I'm saying it correctly. I think he's the defensive captain of the team because he leads the charge on defense, but Kyrie offensively leads the charge, and I need to see just a little bit more production from Jaylen Brown. Even though he's been doing okay, I'm not trying to be like super critical because Jaylen Brown, he's had his ups and downs. He's had his great moments where he'll give you a 20-point game every now and then he'll give you a great defensive game, and then there's days where he's just like he's almost a no-show. But I like Jaylen Brown. He's kind of like one of the only players besides Kyrie on the Celtics that I could actually watch, because Jason Tatum, I'm not saying I don't like Tatum, but then there are moments where I just feel like he feels himself, and it kind of ticks me off because I don't like the Celtics, but it's like I can't help it. But yeah, but game 3, I feel like Indiana is going to win. I'm not sure, but I'm just have a feeling, because from what I've seen from Indiana, they really give it to Boston when they're at home. So I feel like Indiana is gonna be a little more energetic and come with a little more energy than they did on the road, and that home crowd is just gonna be very, very hyped. And you need that when you don't have your best player. And Victor Oladipo would be making such a huge difference for Indiana right now. I know you're going to tell me it's Victor Oladipo. He's not a Kyrie Irving or nothing like that. I know, but he would be making a difference because he would have hit some of those big shots that Indiana would have needed to close out that game last night. He would have hit some of them. And from what we've seen from Victor Oladipo from last year, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I am talking about. So that's the Boston-Indiana series. I still say Boston has this. I'm not going to say in 5 because I don't know. Indiana's a whole nother team at home, but I still say this is going to be a grind them out series. Who's going to score 100 points? That's my next question. Who's going to score 100 points between Indiana and Boston? Because I haven't seen either team score 100 points yet. We'll see what happens in game 3. Now let's go to Milwaukee and Detroit. Detroit did not come out as they did in game 1. They came out a little more aggressive. They were moving the ball, making plays, but at the same time, Milwaukee, when Eric Bledsoe and Giannis are clicking, and then with Brook Lopez making his threes and getting his buckets in the paint, Milwaukee is just very hard to stop. Just the fact that they play a defense that's 2-3 zone, it is very hard to get through when you got Giannis in the middle. Look, I mean, Giannis could damn near cover for 2 people when he's covering the middle from the free throw line. It's very hard to get through that defense. For God's sake, he was blocking Thon Maker like he was nothing. And then Giannis dunks on him on the other end. It's Giannis and Eric Bledsoe, when they both are going, this team is impossible to beat. They are almost impossible to beat. They have been dominating the Pistons. Again, Blake Griffin did not play in this game, but Andre Drummond and these guys, they just need to find a way to not let the Bucks get going in transition, because that's where they're getting killed the most. The Bucks are really good in transition, especially after a defensive stop. Like, this team plays hardcore defense. The Bucks play hardcore defense. They really do. Because they have long, lengthy guys. Like, they will bother the hell out of you on the passing lane also. They have quick, young, athletic guys. And like I said, they play a 2-3 zone. So it's like, you think you're safe, but Giannis is literally roaming in the middle, and he's just waiting for a pass to come through, and he's just going to be wide open for a dunk. I don't know. I don't think Detroit might win a game in this series, because I just don't see the Bucks letting a game go against Detroit, because They're looking like as if they're warming up for the second round already. But again, I cannot assume. I cannot assume. But to me, I think I think this is a sweep. This is a sweep because again, it's just they know everything Detroit's going to do. They can't really do much when Andre Drummond is your best player. He's very limited. It's not like you could give him the ball and shoot mids and three pointers. He has to dominate the paint and he'll get you on the rebounds. Yeah, Andre Drummond could get you rebounds, but then when you have to deal with a defense that Milwaukee's putting up, which is again that 2-3 zone, it's very hard to try to score points. And Giannis, again, is like I said, he's my MVP because of what he does on both ends of the floor. It, yeah, that's my take on Milwaukee and Detroit. Excuse me. So now the last game of the night, which was the Utah Jazz and Houston Rockets. The Utah Jazz are literally still sticking to that 2-3 zone. They are still trying to use James Harden the way the Milwaukee Bucks did against Detroit. They're still trying to use that 2-3 zone, and it is not working against a guy like James Harden. You cannot have Ricky Rubio guarding James Harden. You really cannot. I don't know what Utah is trying to do. James Harden is literally cooking Ricky Rubio every time he sees him. James Harden is looking like a bad man right now. It's like I criticized the hell out of James Harden like 2 months ago, and here he is proving me wrong right again. And the Rockets are they're running laps around Utah. They're running laps around them, and it's looking like a shoot around every time they play against Utah. James Harden I hope he keeps this up, to tell you the truth. I hope he keeps proving me wrong. I hope he keeps this up. I want him to do this against the Warriors. I want to see him this dominant against the Warriors. Because God knows if the Rockets would have made some of their shots in that game 7 last year, I think we would have seen the Rockets in the finals last year. But now that they have a chance to possibly meet up with the Warriors in the second round, well, not possibly. They are going to meet up with the Warriors in the second round because I don't see the Warriors losing to the Clippers. But if James Harden can do this against the Golden State Warriors, we have a whole nother series going on right now. We have a whole nother series. And with Chris Paul healthy, if they don't have to play in the fourth quarter, the more rest they get, I think the Rockets might be able to pull this off and actually challenge the Warriors, especially after they lost DeMarcus Cousins, which is unfortunate. And I'm feeling bad for DeMarcus Cousins. I'm not exactly feeling bad for the Warriors because God knows if the Warriors lose, I think the whole NBA fan base would be more excited to see a competitive NBA Finals because I want to see Harden and the Greek Freak battling it out in the finals. I want to see the two front runners for the MVP battling it out for the NBA championship. And from what I'm seeing with the Rockets, they look like a whole different team now. They're attacking the paint more often. Clint Capella is giving you blocks, rebounds. He's making plays on the floor offensively. James Harden is moving the ball. He's not just straight ISOing. But when he gets to ISO, it's good luck trying to contain James Harden. Again, they're trying to use Milwaukee's strategy and use that 2-3 zone, but they got the wrong player guarding him one-on-one. I don't know what you're going to do. I really don't know what you are going to do. James Harden is just looking like a very bad man against Milwaukee, against the Utah Jazz. Sorry for my mistake. But I got Houston possibly beating Utah in 5. I don't see them sweeping Utah because Utah, again, they're a better team when they're at home. And to me, Utah is one of the hardest places to win at because I've just seen teams go into Utah and they lose. It could be the Warriors, it could be the Rockets, it could be the Celtics. Like they just somehow lose because Utah just plays better at home. I got the Rockets in 5. But anyway, those are the Game 2 overviews. That's what I think is going to happen in the rest of the series. The Game 3s and Game 4 should be interesting. man, like I said, I hope the Rockets keep this up and they could challenge the Warriors, because God knows we need that, because I'm so sick and tired of the Warriors being the overall favorite. But anyway, hit the bell, comment, and subscribe. This was your boy Jay Varsity, and I am out. Peace.
Make them bow down when they meet us.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non